Hey friends. So yesterday's post was interesting because, if you happened to not catch it, I spoke about a practice session, a violin practice session with my daughter, where things got pretty I talked about how she sort of they're like the moon phases, waxing and waning phases of resistance that she seems to go through. And they correspond very closely to a pattern in myself that also kind of is in response to that, and of course a lot of times subconsciously or unconsciously on my part is driving her resistance. In other words, the way I'm working with her makes her more resistant or less resistant. And then I spoke a little bit about at the end of yesterday, after our violin session, we went to the ice skating rink and went ice skating. And I had this experience of her really in a kind of new way taking it on independently. Suddenly she's skating around on her own. She had a lesson with a teacher, and she was suddenly able to scooch herself around the rink. I had to jump in every once in a while and grab her and keep her from falling, and did my best to not, I did my best to prevent disaster. But I basically was able to watch her be independent. And lo and behold, today, when we started violin practice, again, stonewall resistance, just total stop, full stop. And I could tell that the way that her resistance, what it triggered in me, was another massive wave of frustration, kind of like the one I felt yesterday. But because I had been reflecting on it, and I was to some degree primed to acknowledge that whatever was happening in me was not simply something that I needed to express. It wasn't the truth. I was feeling something that was related, intricately intertwined with what's going on in my daughter, but not necessarily yet fully clear to me. Because I had the wherewithal to catch that, I was able to not voice my frustration, and instead offer her some independence. And I basically said, why don't I just go across the room and say nothing and let you practice this on your own? And she said, okay. So I went across the room, and I'll be darned if she didn't play the entire piece, start to finish, all the notes, the whole thing. There's some bowing to work on, because that part it gets a little tricky at one particular place. But I was a little bit flabbergasted, both by the fact that she knew the piece so well. I didn't really think she knew it that well. I thought I still had to micromanage her learning of individual notes more. And it turned out I was wrong. And and that tells me something going forward as well. But I was also a little bit flabbergasted by the fact that it took me so long to figure out that doing it on her own is really what she wanted. That was really the issue. The issue wasn't that she didn't want to do it. And that's such a huge distinction. You know, and I'd had this template or this I had this little message from the ice skating experience the day before. And that resonated really powerfully, because when she is able to do things on her own, or when she feels like she's able to do things on her own, that's the thing, you know. 5-year-olds don't necessarily see the entire context that's being provided for them to be able to independently do an activity. They're not really aware of the fact that there's so many moving parts and so many people holding up a structure around them within which they're doing their thing on their own. But they're not supposed to. They're 5. They're supposed to just demand that they approach the level of learning that they're capable of with the level of independence that they're capable of. That's all they're supposed to do. She was doing exactly what she was supposed to be doing. And, you know, so having kind of tracked that a little bit, and then luckily having the wherewithal to step back, it was like a massive breakthrough. She enjoyed it. She was laughing about it. She wanted to play the song for Mama, for my wife, when she came out. It was just, and now we have a little bit of a game plan for how I can step back, and in certain ways, when she's practicing. And it taught me so much. It taught me so much. It's so easy to say, you need to trust them. You need to let go. You need to let them learn their own lessons. You need to let them figure it out for themselves. Right? None of these are statements that I would have disagreed with this morning. And I was acting in contradiction to those statements. I didn't, you know, I was caught in a particular kind of engagement. And on some level, I was like, you know, this level of resistance is not really viable. I know it comes in phases, it waxes and wanes, but what's the breakthrough here? Like, where's the breakthrough? Where's the part? What is it I'm supposed to learn? What is it I need to let go of? What is it we're supposed to move through? And finally feeling like I got it, the penny dropped, was really satisfying. A big relief. Big relief. So I'll tell you tomorrow whether that penny dropped and stayed dropped, or whether there was another penny that needed to drop, or whether the penny dropped but then I picked it back up again. I don't plan to do that, but I'm not trying to claim a revelation where there might yet be learning left to do. But it was a real synchronicity how I got this kind of dual lesson one day, and then the following day the resolution kind of happened of the where there had been resistance before. So pretty cool. Nice way to go to bed on a Sunday night. That's where I am today, folks. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. great day. I'll see you soon.